So, guys, in this stream, we're going to have a series of difficult conversations. So, I know someone sent this to me via my Instagram. You can feel free to send me content anytime through IG, right? They shot me this, or support@shishaz.com. They shot me this, and I know they thought this was my first time actually seeing this video. I've seen this video before, and the general consensus I remember within the comment section were people who were talking about how overweight these college students look. And a lot of women were specifically commenting on how they remember back in their day, the college students, the college women didn't look so big. And so a subscriber sent this to my DM. And I'll tell you the truth, man. I know a lot of people think I go scouring for the worst type of content to talk about here, but I'm going to be really transparent here in this video. I saw this and I was like, I'm not going to talk about these college students because I was leaving room for an incredible amount of possibilities. There was an incredible amount of grace being shown here because I thought to myself, well, they don't want this. Obviously, they do not want this. Chances are upbringing, you know, they may be freshmen in college and now they may be able to have healthier options of what they can spend their time doing, exercise, etc. We know diet's a big point of contention when it comes to Americans today that contributes to obesity. And maybe they didn't have control over that. Their parents didn't care what they fed them. And so I looked at this and I actually felt bad. I'm going to keep it real. I felt bad. I said, no, I'm not going to address this until I found out a little bit more of what exactly is going on here. And so let's read this caption real quick, right? Very polarizing caption here, but we're going to read it. This was shared on Melanie King's page. Shout out to Melanie King. It reads, "You're telling me these are college girls?" So she reshared this video. I don't think that she actually made the caption. Doesn't matter. Let's talk about it. They look like 45-year-old aunties with diabetes and gout. And the face palm right there, right? And so I like, oh, okay, here's this post again. I said, let me scroll down to the comment section and see what this is really all about. By the way, this is on Threads. You can follow me on Threads. I'm on there. And I start checking out these comments. This first commenter says this. They let you do voice notes on Threads, by the way, which I think is pretty cool. And other platforms I know do this, but shout out to this feature right here. I wonder why this isn't as popular. Let's play it.
Damn, so no fine shit? Man, they obese as hell, man. Damn.
So there's honesty within this comment section. Another woman here says, and I'm 55-year-old grandma. What happening with you gals? You know, so here's a 55-year-old woman here posting. And like I said, man, in the last post I saw of it, a lot of women, it was not the men. For the majority of those comments, it was a lot of women who were most likely embarrassed for those college students, those college women. And when I saw this for a second time, I said, I'm probably not going to address this because I already know a lot of people probably are, right? Shishaz is a nice guy. I know. So here came another comment that says, Big Back University starting lineup 2025. So there's no mercy here being shown. This chick here says, I spit out my drink. The way my eyes got widened reading this, you know you ain't right. You foul, bah ha ha ha. So, a strong old line in college history. Damn. So I keep going, right? And as I'm scrolling down, let's read a few more comments. This person says, but I just feel like, oh, no. We can play this.
Okay, but I just feel like the first ones that came out, the ones that had all black on, I feel like they was cute though. They look good. It was just the nutty professors with the jackets on that was kind of like, yeah. But the first ones though, they was straight. They was fine, y'all. They was cute, right? Yeah.
Let's check it out. Let's see. So she says, hey, she feels like the first few that came out were cute. And it wasn't until they started getting to the ones in the back, they started looking like nutty professors. And if you're not sure who because some people may not know, man, just to show you how real people are keeping it here. If you're not sure of the Nutty Professor movie, shout out to Eddie Murphy. Let me see here. Let's bring this up. On screen. Here is what Chick's talking about. Right. There's a Nutty Professor. You'd be surprised, man, how many people don't know. And they'll ask in the comments down below. So let's check it out. Maybe she's right. The first few couple of women there. Let's take it back. I would agree with that. I'll definitely say the ones in the front look a lot better than the ones in the back. And you know what this makes me think of? This makes me think of a previous video I released. It was a man and a woman. The woman was telling women, she was a black woman, telling black women, but I think it was addressed towards most women in general, saying, don't get fat. Very popular video I did. And then following that was a black man who was telling people in general, but mostly black men, were listening to him, and men telling them, hey, don't get fat. Being fat does not help anybody, man or woman. But someone made a very popular comment in that last video, and I think it's worth sharing. I think a lot of people may look at this and think the men and women, but particularly the men who have issue with what I'm about to talk about here, don't date black women. But this right here was one of the very popular comments from the video I released where the woman and the man were warning people not to get fat. This gentleman left this comment that says, black women are honestly one of the most beautiful women on this planet. If they would only put in as much work in the gym as the other groups of women, there would be no competition for them anymore. I think the reason why this comment was so popular overall is because a lot of men read this and says, you know what, this is true. If especially black women, because we see the issue of weight in other races, but particularly within the black community, it's at a greater degree. And I do believe that this statement is true. Now, the whole competition thing, I think there's never no competition when it comes to the dating market. Black women would have to compete less. Here's the problem, though. We live in a generation of women who believe, and across the board, regardless of race, believe they shouldn't have to do anything whatsoever. They are the table, right? The last thing you see an overweight women getting on camera complaining and saying, hey, I don't get why guys aren't approaching me. And no one wants to mention the elephant in the room. No pun intended. All right. So what made me actually address this topic? Well, it was this comment right here that made me realize, oh, I've got to talk about this. The comment reads, for everyone that's curious, this is the honeybees. The first 6 girls who walk down are about to perform. So the first 6 girls we saw walking down, they're about to perform. The rest of them are alumni. So she goes on to say there's specifically a dance group of plus-size women who perform at games with the marching band to show that anyone can do whatever they want despite the world telling them that they're too fat. Oh. So they're doing this on purpose? It goes on to say also the racism and fat phobia in these comments is real. It's low-key super sad, and I'm really disappointed that the vast majority of the comments are negative. And I sat there and I thought, did she honestly think that this was going to make people actually have more of a sympathetic bone in their body towards seeing obesity being celebrated? Because you got to think, originally I'm thinking to myself, no, the unfortunate circumstances, this is sad. They don't want this. No, they are celebrating this. They're recruiting these chicks, possibly your children, into this dance group of overweight women.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
And that right there made this whole situation worse. Not better, it made it worse. Somebody else responded back to her and says, you know what? I'm sick of people normalizing overweight and obese people. Being overweight is unhealthy and make you prone, I believe that's supposed to say, to a bucket full of medical complications that can be taxing on your finances. Right. We don't hate them because they're fat. We just hope they would make better choices with their health. And I don't necessarily think this is really even about them as much as it's about how does this affect any young person who goes to a college. Because college is a very interesting part of life, right? It's where you either double down on what you've been doing for the last so many years of your life, or you make drastic changes for the better. Now, that usually comes in the form of people who you connect with, friends, the network you have around you. Those people influence you and in turn have a great deal of influence on your habits and what you define as a successful life. The goal here is, if you have children, to do your best to make sure that they don't get recruited by the honeybees. Yes, the honeybees, and yes, it is worse for women, but no, it doesn't mean men should be fat. You should get yourself together. You shouldn't be recruiting sons to the male version of this if it does exist. Somebody else here says, why do fat people think others fear them? This is cope. No one is fat phobic. It's just disgusting. Disgust and fear are two entirely different concepts. You do well to learn the difference. Somebody else here says, why is the obesity so celebrated in America, especially in the Black community? And so she actually responded, right? This is the woman who came with the news that she thought would make this whole situation better. I think, to me, I was like, oh, okay, so they're doing this on purpose. They actually think this is a good thing. I said, oh, no. She says, I don't know why you think I'm celebrating people being fat. All I'm saying is that being mean in the comments is unnecessary because these women are actually doing something with their lives, unlike all the keyboard edgelords talking about their weight. With the laughing emojis, I celebrate anyone in the body they have at the moment. Yeah, that's all we need to see right there. It's me, Logan, but we have a woman's picture. This is the right response to this whole situation. You celebrate everyone regardless of their situation, regardless of their choices in their life. You know, I'm really glad that Mark Zuckerberg announced that we can finally speak truth here. This is a meta platform. And so a lot of people better get used to this, because now that we've got the green light to really just be honest, thanks to Mark and his switch up, right? Ability to stand on business. Hey, I'm all for it. Things are just going to get a lot more honest. The coffee is going to get a lot stronger here on the coffee pot, and we might just take it over to Facebook. It is not success for a young lady, especially, to think that this is okay. Because all that this is proving, if there are lemonides there in the back, is they just got worse as expected with time, like we all do. So why would you start yourself at the worst point possible, right? Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you do that? And then in return, that would decrease your chances of marriage, so on and so forth. I think this is unfortunate that this right here is celebrated. Two people who I don't necessarily care about who may be overweight. Number one are married women, right? If you're a married woman who's overweight, that's your husband's problem. That's your husband's problem. No longer your parents' problem. No longer your own personal decisions. That's your husband. He's the one that you should be doing your best to remain attractive for. And it doesn't become your problem until he decides he's fed up with it. Hey, your husband's okay with you being overweight? Whatever. Oh, well, so now we should center our lives around a man? Yes. If your goal is to get married, it's just like everything else in this life. No, a man is not your purpose, but If your goal is to get married and attract a man, just like you be trying to get a job, then yes, your life should be centered around achieving that goal. And you should not be telling other people that you can win a marathon by not exercising, that you can go and qualify for a job that you're not fit for, that you can go and capitalize on the best option for a husband for you that you want when you're not the best option for him or a good option for him. That's it.